They say a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing, and this is the perfect example of that. It sounds like this woman has had a really terrific experience. Like a lot of people, she probably resisted therapy, then went into therapy, then loved it, did group therapy, and came into a lot of consciousness and now wants to share all that learning with the world. And that's very common. And frankly, a lot of therapists begin their careers that way. They get all excited about their own therapy experience, and then they go on to the training and the learning and years that it takes to become a therapist. Unfortunately, she hasn't done any of that second stuff, the second half. She's just had the experience, and now she wants to be everyone's therapist. You're right, that doesn't work. And there are a couple of good reasons. There's two big mistakes that she's making that any therapist would spot right away. First of all, therapy depends on absolute trust. Therapeutic process depends on trust, and you do not do it with someone you know. You do it with a therapist who's a total stranger in an office where you have absolute confidentiality and where everything is set up to create an atmosphere of trust. And even then, it often takes a few sessions before, and it may even take a few therapists before you find someone that you are willing to trust in that way. Therapy depends upon trust because it's all about truth. You do not do therapy with your ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend in the living room during a party. You don't run up to strangers and say you want to be their therapist. You don't run up to your boyfriend's girlfriend and say, it's just not the way you do things, okay? Therapy needs trust, and certainly you have no reason to trust this woman, and she would be a terrible choice for you to do therapy with. Second big mistake here. Therapy is not about changing people. It's not about fixing them. It's about creating awareness, consciousness, and allowing that consciousness to have its effect upon the person who's doing the therapy. All right, so it's tempting as a therapist to fall into the trap of giving advice or trying to fix somebody, but it's a big mistake. The times that the mental health establishment has fallen into this trap, they've made enormous mistakes and really ended up humiliating themselves. So, things like trying to cure gay people, telling mothers that they've made their children schizophrenic or that they've caused autism, or just all kinds of nonsense has emerged from getting a little bit too cocky as a mental health professional and deciding that somehow or other you can tell people how they should lead their lives. That's not right. What a therapist should do is listen and do his best to apply a theoretical matrix to the information that he's receiving. Mostly what a therapist does, honestly, is ask questions and try to be a sort of a screen on which a person can begin to see his or herself. You're there so they can hear themselves and come to their own conclusions about what they want to do with their lives. Okay, so those are two huge mistakes. One, there needs to be trust, and two, you don't go about trying to fix somebody. It's just not what therapy is about. So what you need to tell this woman is that you're, pleased for her that she's had a wonderful experience with therapy, but that you have your own journey and that it doesn't involve her, and that's a boundary. And you would appreciate it if she would just let you go your way, the way she took her own time going her way and finding her path. In terms of your boyfriend, I think if he wants to see this woman, that's his right, but I think it would, again, be an appropriate boundary for you to say, I'm sorry, I just don't like her, and I, if you want to go out to lunch or see her on your own, fine, but it's just not somebody I'd like to have in my life. Just like he may object to someone from your past whom he'd rather not see. I think that's a fair compromise for partners to make.